Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk,
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell.
and tonight we have a pretty fun show planned for you guys. We have a couple of different topics. We're going to be starting off with our movie grid game that we do every week now to start off the show. And also, the last thing I'll remind you of is it says right above me. You can call in below. The link is in the description, and it is also in the live chat for you guys. Jump on in there. Make sure that your camera is off and your microphone is on. Whether you want to talk about Daredevil, any of our topics, whatever, or you just have a general question for us about movies or entertainment or anything like that, go ahead and jump down there to call in live on the show. Also, if you call in, we will probably keep you pinned down in the studio here. Do not think that we are forgetting about you. We know you are down there, and probably once we are wrapped up with what we're currently talking about, we will pull you guys in. So totally okay to call in and just be waiting down there and chilling out for a few minutes. But again, like I said, those that link is in the description and in the live chat as well. TJ, anything you want to talk about before we get into our movie grid this week?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good to start the movie grid, the new like weekly occurrence that we do.
Boom. Yeah, this is great. I love doing this.
Yeah, I would say we've gotten I think we've gotten like decently good at it, at least the last few times we've done it.
Well, as I pull it up here, I have bumped us up to deep cut.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was
yeah, there's different game modes.
Oh, geez.
Because there's like the today, just like Wordle, where it's like a different one every day. And then there's some TV classics and then deep cut. And I gotta say, I know that you just kind of hyped us up that we were doing well and everything, and I feel like we have a good general knowledge. Just looking at this first glance, I don't know how much more difficult this one really is, but maybe these are actors that just people don't think about as much. I don't know. Yeah. But we have, for those who don't know, this is basically like a movie Sudoku. We got Molly joining us. We got Shelly joining us in the chat as always. Thank you guys so much. And again, with this game, sound off some guesses in the chat and everything. We will not be looking at chat. But if we really are ever stumped on something, feel free to go off in the chat and talk amongst yourselves while we're playing this. But where do you want to start? What jumps out to you? And again, this is our friend A through H again.
Let's go with man, oh man. I think we should start with Giancarlo. I think that might be the easiest one to start with. Let's just do the first thing. So title starts with A through H. Ignore the. Right. So
Captain America, Brave New World.
Okay, that's an option. Do your right thing's an option, or do the right thing. I'm trying to think.
Either one of those would work for all three of these.
Right. I feel like I haven't seen many of his movies or movies he's been in, so I think I might struggle with this one. Because Do the Right Thing is the only one I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Or Captain America, like you said.
What was the Far Cry game that he was in?
Well, does that count?
I don't know. I'm wondering if those like little movies they do. Wasn't he 5?
It's not Far Cry. It might be. Yeah, it might be 5.
I mean, that would be crazy, right? If we did that.
Yeah, you could try it. I think it was 5. No. Okay. It was not.
That's fine. All right. What do you want to do? You want to do? I'm trying to think of something like slightly in between. Giancarlo Esposito. That's what he says. I literally am blanking on like all of his movies, which is not good. But let's just go Cap for this.
That's probably like one of the top guesses. Yeah,
31%. Okay. I feel like this one. I feel like I'd be comfortable doing Do the Right Thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then
now for 1990 to 2025, it pretty much could literally be anything. I'm just trying to like picture him in movies.
I just think of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I think of him.
Wow.
Well, I mean, no matter what, we lost a guess, right? So we
Yeah.
lost a square.
Yeah.
So if we want, we could just keep going and then, or we have, yeah. So
yeah.
we could
All
just
right.
keep
What
going.
about A
Where we're
through
at.
H with Claire Foy?
Girl with the dragon tattoo. Was that?
That's what
that
I was
one?
thinking. Girl with the dragon tattoo, but then we might have to save that for a 3-word title.
I think you might have overestimated our.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
thoughts.
I just think we're like getting pinned in. All right. Let's go Mark Strong. Mark Strong,
Okay.
I feel like we can really get a lot going here. A through H. Wait, didn't oh yeah, that's right. What about Green Lantern?
Found me.
33.3. Real.
I would say Shazam would be 90 through 2025.
Oh, what about this? Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Shazam Fury of the Gods.
There we go.
And then what about
Kingsman
the Golden Circle? You think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, I was going to say it's going to be 17.
The only one I'm thinking lower than that is maybe like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to Claire Foy. Claire Foy is just like, all right, I might take a guess on Claire Foy. I might take a hint on Claire Foy. Definitely girl with a dragon tattoo. Let's just go with it. Let's just do what we know and see if it sparks anything. Girl with dragon tattoo.
It's not that one.
Oh, is it girl who played with fire?
Yeah, it might be.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Oh
I don't
my
know what
God.
it's called.
All right, well, I think we're just losing on this one. Let's see. What is it, girl? All right, well, let's not.
It's girl with something.
Yeah. So we can't think of a single Claire Foy movie. I'm like, what was that one that she did with Michael?
Next week we're not doing this. We're doing the easier one.
What was our? Oh, she did a movie with Michael Fassbender. I know that. She hasn't been a superhero or anything. Claire Foy.
No.
She was just in stuff.
She's in the. I mean, she was the only thing I can remember.
I know. I can only think of their famous TV stuff. Oh yeah. Do you have any? If anyone can give me any movie that Claire Foy has ever even been in chat right now, just even a fleeting appearance. She wasn't in any of the Bonds or anything.
Not that No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I
don't know, TJ. I think the whole world might have forgotten.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I the only one I can name is that one movie, but obviously we don't even know the name of it.
Let's go El Camino.
All right.
Which he's not in. All right. That was abysmal. That was a total L, totally on me. Megalopolis! Oh, come on.
He was in Megalopolis?
The girl in the spider's web. Oh, First Man. Oh, my God. Unsane.
I completely forgot about that movie.
Oh, my God. Wow. Okay.
Megalopolis. Ali. I don't even remember him in Ali.
Amos and Andrew.
Okay, I don't know what Amos and Andrew is. I don't know what the box is.
Oh, of course. She was just in All of Us Strangers.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God.
And then...
And she was in...
Fever Pitch.
Oh, he was in Young Victoria. Incredible. Damn. Fever Pitch. Incredible.
All right. We stink.
What was this? I know that Claire Foy, Michael Fassbender, I know they were in a movie together. Oh, my God.
It's probably like a romantic. It's probably like a not a rom-com, but like
nope, they just weren't even in a movie together.
Oh, then you were just wrong. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Completely wrong. Wow. Thank you. Shelley now hits us with Girl in the Spider's Web.
There we go. Well, we know.
Yeah, there's too many of those movies. They're all named too similar. All right.
That was brutal.
That was truly brutal. Wow. Okay. 1 second. Let me just gear up. Jamie, you want to pull that up? Will do. All right. This is great TV. All right. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about something that I have been very, very amped for a long time. That we are finally getting movement on thanks to CinemaCon, which wrapped up last week. Last week we had a show kind of in the middle of CinemaCon. Got some incredible trailers. One of the best trailers for Mission Impossible that I think that they've ever released. But that is not the trailer we're taking a look at today. TJ, have you seen the trailer for Tron Ares?
I have.
You have seen it? All right.
I have, yeah.
Well, we're going to take a look at it right now. Have you seen the Mission trailer?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I've seen one of them.
All right, here we go. We're calling an audible here and we're switching to the Mission trailer. Everyone on Earth, it's my mission, no pun intended, to make sure that everyone on Earth sees this trailer. All right. Let's see.
Oh, the Mission trailer. I thought you were okay.
This can't
Sorry.
be true.
I thought you were talking about something completely different. Yes, I've seen this.
All right, well, I want to talk about it. Man, I am like so hyped for this movie. It's not even funny.
The Kremlin bombing.
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
He gassed a security briefing.
That was just 2 months ago.
This movie was good.
That was just
Yeah.
2 months ago.
I gotta rewatch it.
Man, him in that blue sweater, he's looking good, man.
Still not clear why he's here. If we want to bring the world back from the brink,
Oh my God.
we have to deal with him.
Kind of
We
got to talk
choose
over
to
this one
accept.
because I know Paramount's really feisty with man, that shot of him with the
Smart
wind with the
people on
key,
every
man.
side are close to
We're
panic.
back.
What exactly is?
Oh,
your
you don't
plan?
watch Severance, do you?
No.
He's from Severance. He's like so good.
This is weird. I don't know what is going on here.
I have a theory.
You've
Man,
been betrayed, Ethan. All your secrets compromised. Everything you are.
man, I just feel like I got to keep running my mouth over this, but like that right there, cutting all the movies together,
Mm-hmm.
so incredible.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Man,
That was real.
Alive.
He actually
I know.
did that.
Are the sum of our choices.
I have no regrets,
This is your
brother.
calling,
Neither should you.
your destiny. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
Man,
I need you to trust me. One last time.
man, what an exceptional trailer. I'm like the two trailers coming out of CinemaCon was that one and the Tron one.
Mm-hmm. When
And-
you said Mission, you know how
Yeah.
like sometimes trailers have like there's different trailers and they're called different things. I thought
Yeah.
you were saying like there's a Tron trailer called like Mission or something.
Oh, I
was
see what
like,
you're
no,
saying.
I
And I was
don't
like,
know if
oh,
I've
did you
seen
see
that.
the new Mission trailer?
Right,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I see. Yeah. Like they just did that with Thunderbolts. They released a trailer and it was called like Invincible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that looks awesome. Again, I think the last Mission Impossible movie was kind of just it was hard done by Oppenheimer and Barbie kind of coming
Mhm.
out. I feel like it was very shortly after that movie had come out. So it kind of just faded away very
Like
quickly.
kneecapped it.
Yeah. But no, I'm really excited. I don't know if this is gonna be the last one. They say it will be,
Mhm.
but you know, depending if it makes a lot of money, I'm sure they'll be like, you know, Tom, maybe you come back for a ninth. Maybe a
Yeah, I
10th
was
or
gonna say the
something.
last one, if they can wrestle it away out of Tom Cruise's hands.
Yeah.
Which I think is highly unlikely. But yeah, I got this trailer up on the trailer TV at our work, at my work, sorry. And I I don't like sit there actively and watch it. I mean, I have a couple times, but it's just like playing from time to time all the time. And I'm just like, man, certain lines, certain shots, that shot where he jumps and it cuts between all the movies of as he's like falling. That is just like an inspired trailer choice. But I think, oh yeah, go for it.
I actually didn't realize this. I thought this movie came out like later this year, but it literally comes out like next month.
Yeah, it comes out next month.
May 26th, right?
The 23rd.
I was shocked. I was like, oh, I gotta just rewatch all of them.
Yeah. It's oh my god, they're so good. But yeah, that is. Do you remember Barf from Civil War? Like the technology that he uses to like talk to his parents or whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that is gonna happen in this movie. I think he's going to, I think because it's like these movies are expertly crafted. And again, this is like a crackpot theory and could definitely not happen, but like these movies are so expertly crafted that they know they're like, okay, it's the last one, we have to play on the nostalgia. And like all of the trailers have been playing on the nostalgia of the entire franchise. I think that the movie itself is going to, and I think it's literally he's gonna strap into that thing, and it's gonna be somehow he's like back inside of all the previous missions. And it's like he's like, Ethan, where are you? Luther, I'm in the hallway of the Kremlin.
Yeah.
This is the day that Benji and I were there. What are you saying? You know, like that I feel like there's going to be something like that in the movie. And then it cuts to him and he's in the thing and it's like it's all just in his mind. Because I mean, clearly they're doing something crazy that he's like fusing with the entity or at least just like absorbing it or something.
I was gonna say this. And this still has something to do with the AI, right? They're not just gonna scrap that.
Oh yeah.
It was supposed to be like part 1, part 2, and then they were like, oh,
yeah. I think the only thing I don't think anything in the movie changed at all from the performance of the first one, other than the name. Like I think they literally, and I actually think it's a better name. I just think like some people are like, not that anybody really is like attacking the movie, but like. Some people are like, "Oh, it changed the name because they freaking could. The last one did so bad," and it's like, it's not. I don't even think it's that. I think it's just a better name. Yeah. I think just doing. I think it's just unless you're doing a book adaptation like Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. Although I don't know if you needed it for Mockingjay, but you know they did Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. Something with a pre-existing name makes total sense to call it that way. But when it's just a movie franchise and you're making them from scratch, it's like you don't really need to do a part 1 and a part 2. Just come up with a cool name. And I think Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning accomplish the same thing without having to slap a number onto the movie. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But real quick, we don't have to watch it, but what were your thoughts on the Tron trailer? I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. I thought the score, Nine Inch Nails, was awesome. I liked that they're kind of going into the real world. I was not a fan of Tron Legacy. I liked the original. That was cool. But yeah, I'm excited.
I saw Legacy.
I've seen it once, and when I watched it, hold on, I just had it pulled up.
Oh my god.
Actually, I closed the tab. I think it was within the past year or two is when I watched it. And I saw Greta Lee, and you know, anything Greta Lee's in, I big fan of. So
are you watching the studio?
I have. Yep, just watched the newest episode earlier.
Oh my god, I gotta watch.
She was great in episode 2, I think it was. But yeah, so I'm interested, cautiously optimistic. Who's directing this again?
Nobody. it's the I can't remember the name, but if you have it there,
Joachim Roning, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Okay, yeah, he was the director of Maleficent 2, I think, and then Pirates 5.
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah,
correct,
Pirates
yes.
5. Yeah, was that the last one, or was Stranger Tides the last one?
I have no idea. I've never seen any of them.
Oh my god, it's so.
I've actually seen that one. I have seen that one.
Yeah, it's so long ago. I think Stranger Tides was 4. So yeah, so 5 sounds right. Yeah, honestly, with this, it's more about the visuals to me. I think that the visuals and the score are going to be maybe 60% of this movie, and I feel like already based on this trailer, they've nailed it. So for me, for on vibes alone, I give it a pass. All right, what do we have? What do we have next?
June of last year, or sorry, June 2023 is when I watched.
Oh, okay.
Next we got Peacemaker season 2 release date. So I think
Boom.
you had said, was this at the end of White Lotus that this was announced?
It was at the beginning of White
Oh,
Lotus.
okay, like the sizzle reel that they
yeah,
do?
it was the little like this summer on HBO, I think.
So Peacemaker season 2 official release date August 21st. So hot off the heels when Superman is released, they will be following that up with Peacemaker season 2.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think that's so close.
Yep. So what are your initial thoughts on this? Are you excited? Hopefully, Superman has a good showing. It's a great movie, and we can kind of go right into a show that we already know or we're assuming is going to be really good.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think first of all, I'm looking right here at one of my favorite movies poster, The Suicide Squad, also August release. Terrible year to put out a movie, but also an August release. So I think it's fitting for the character because we also got the first season was just slightly after that movie came out, right? Wasn't it? It ran from like November to Christmas, I want to say.
I believe so, yeah.
And then, yeah, right, November to Christmas, because then right at New Year's is when Last of Us came out. So both of these shows that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about Last of Us in just a second here. Both of these shows that we're talking about, to me, it's just been too long. I mean, it's like I can get a Severance season taking 3 years because of the sheer sets that they have to build and the scope of everything they're doing and everything. This to me is like, and I get that it was a huge, literally the whole structure of the company at DC has completely changed since season one. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt on that. I just wish that we were getting it sooner so that I can, like, when you just said following it up with what's hopefully, we expect another great season. I went like, oh, that's right. Season one was so good. Like, and I loved season one. It was amazing, but like, I just don't think about it because it's on the pile of TV in my brain. It's so far down the pile now. You know what I mean? And it's like, I want to rewatch it, and I probably will if Superman is really, really good. I'll probably within that month rewatch Peacemaker. But yeah, I'm just really excited to just get it back on our screens so that we can reappreciate how great it is. Obviously, assuming and hoping that season 2 is as great as season 1. But yeah, August 21st, didn't even think about the proximity to Superman, but I am pretty stoked for that. To maybe we even get Harcourt in Superman, and then we can see Harcourt again in Peacemaker. I don't know, but it'll be pretty awesome. What are your thoughts on getting this pretty soon?
Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't even know it was. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you the last time I had seen something about it or when it was coming out. So I'm excited to see it's coming out relatively soon. I'll be interested to see how they kind of I'm assuming, I shouldn't say that. I'm interested to see how they kind of weave in whatever happened in season 1. That's going way back. So
right, of course.
I forgot if we wrapped up the whole alien thing or not.
The big retcon.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they kind of bring that in the universe, or they kind of go just like a completely different direction in season 2, to try and tie more into the the universe it's inhabiting, I guess, with Superman and then every other all the other shows and movies that they're making.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm expecting the same level of quality, at least.
Yeah, I'm really, really pumped for it. I think if I remember correctly, I think the whole butterfly plot was wrapped up with like a nice little bow. I think it was wrapped up, but it was like there are still some of the good butterflies on Earth.
Oh, right. Yes.
It was like something like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny thinking now because it's like that show really did do Secret Invasion so much better than Secret Invasion did. Like it was basically the exact same premise. But just in honestly in kind of a more unique way because it wasn't like a shapeshifter, it was like a parasite, which I just think was a really interesting thing to do. And just if you remember, that shit was totally absent from the marketing. You know what I mean? It was like if we saw the butterflies, we maybe thought it was like a villain of the week or something. Like
Yeah.
you didn't really. I remember you didn't really know that this was going to be a show about an alien invasion, and just that little like surprise of it is really interesting. And just even now talking about it, I'm remembering that this show is kind of a. It's kind of like a crime mystery almost. Like if I forgot how much of it was about the mystery of the butterflies. And that gets me even more intrigued because I really hope that this season is another mystery because I just like this team and everybody's back and I'm honestly the 5 minutes we just spent talking about it have gotten me really honestly way more hyped for it than I was
Yeah.
even before we talked about it. So I'm feeling pretty good. Anything else on Peacemaker?
No, it's it.
Christopher Smith himself. Okay. Next up, we're gonna talk a little Joel Miller, and that would be Last of Us season 2. Also, by the way, I'll throw in right on the top here, just as of today, Last of Us officially renewed for season 3. Not that anybody thought it wasn't gonna be, but Last of Us officially gets the season 3 pickup before season 2 even debuts. And speaking of season 2, Last of Us season 2 has premiered on Rotten Tomatoes to a 93% based on 30 reviews. I don't know what it's at right now. Maybe I could take a look at that. But you see this, TJ, 93%, high 90s, or 90s. What are your take on this? Are you where it's kind of same conversation we just had about Peacemaker, to be honest. Where are you at with the hype of returning to The Last of Us?
So looking right now, it looks like 92% season 2 is
Perfect.
that. Yeah, I'm excited. Really liked playing both games. Obviously, this game number 2 is going to be, I think they said split into 2 seasons. So we'll get a third season after this one. So obviously playing the game, I know what happens, but I'm just kind of interested to see how they kind of redo everything. Assuming that they're going to add, kind of more one-off episodes, or maybe just, one or two more, like they did with season 1 with like Nick Offerman. They made a whole episode with his character, and which Frank, in the game you don't get Frank. Really that. Yeah, you don't get that much of. So
it's like a letter, right? They basically just took this letter you find with this story and made it an hour.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played it, but I believe that is what you're saying is correct. And even part 2 is kind of, it's blanking in my head. I know like the major things that happen, obviously, but the smaller kind of characters I'm kind of forgetting. So I'm interested to see what happens with some of them, and then I guess just how they stretch it out. Because
and Shelly in the chat says, looking forward to Last of Us. I need a Pedro fix. Yeah, honestly, after the hot streak he was on, it's kind of been a minute. I mean, like, what was the last Pedro thing? Drive Away Dolls. That was last year. That was 2024. What was the last thing he was in?
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Does that count?
I mean, that was like 4 years ago.
No, it wasn't 4 years ago. That was like 2023. Right? That was 23.
And Dream Scenario was 2023. You're talking about Unbearable Weight. You're talking 21 or 22.
No.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was not that long ago.
Well, we'll take a look. Oh, thank you. Shelly in chat says
2022. Okay.
Wasn't he just like the lead?
Oh, he was
Gladiator?
just a Gladiator, yeah.
And then the other one I was thinking of was he was it was animated, but he was the co-lead in Wild Robot.
Oh, okay.
That was him, Mark Hamill, and oh my God, Lupita Nyong'o. Let's see. We got Jonah's talking about Daredevil there. Go ahead, Jonah, throw in any of your Daredevil thoughts you have. Guarantee you we will read them out once we get to our Daredevil discussion. Real quick on Last of Us, I'm pumped, man. I'm really pumped. Again, just kind of like what we just talked about with Peacemaker. And if you guys want to get our Peacemaker discussion, you hop back about 10 minutes ago when we were talking about it. But I'm just excited, and I also feel like it's just been too long. Like I'm really starting to feel it with the 3 years in between seasons. Just because it's like shows used to just like steamroll you, and now it's like, oh, that one's coming back up. They're
Yeah.
filming that now? Okay, so it'll be out in 2 years? Okay, I got time. It's like, I miss when shows would just, like, hammer you.
Yeah. I don't know if they said it. I'm assuming
Yeah.
they have filmed or have already started, or maybe they finished season 3. Like,
I don't think they've finished it, but I think they've already I would assume they're probably ready to roll on season
okay.
3. Yeah.
I didn't know if they
Um,
shot like just the entire thing,
I mean,
and
that's
then we're like,
totally
we'll just cut
possible.
it in
Yeah.
half and just do it that way.
Yeah.
But
Now, here's my question before we move on from Last of Us, without spoiling anything. The thing that happens,
mhm.
because I at first assumed that it would be maybe like 3rd or 4th episode,
Yeah.
but
Oh, right?
unfortunately,
Okay.
I didn't play it, but I
Yeah.
know what happens. I don't know every detail. Originally I thought it was going to be like pretty early on or like halfway through. What do you think the chances are that it's all the way in the season 2 finale? I mean, with not filler episodes, but with new additions
Yeah.
episodes and expanding things out.
I think you'd really be expanding it because
Really?
it happens probably within the first few hours of the game. It might even be like 1 or 2. Like, it's pretty
Wow.
pretty soon,
Wow.
if I'm remembering
Mhm.
correctly. So I think you'd really be pushing it. I think maybe the farthest you would want to push it is like mid-season.
Really?
Like, I
Okay.
don't think you'd
Wow.
want to push it to because you have a lot. Then you would have a lot. Assuming you're only doing a 3rd season, you'd have a lot of stuff to do in the following season to
Oh, okay.
get.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying like if they waited for that all the way to the end of season 2, this show is going to be like minimum 4 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I
I
just
see what you're saying. Yeah.
thinking of like the length of the game because I feel like part 2 is definitely longer than the first one.
Mhm.
I think you definitely have to do like a little bit more, and I don't think they're going. This doesn't strike me as a show that's going to go on for multiple seasons after season 2.
You think it'll be 3 and done?
Yeah, I think it could probably be 3 and done.
Yeah. Unless Druckmann doesn't he keeps kind of hinting that he's
The
like
part
there
3?
might be more story. There
Well,
might be more story.
they're developing this brand new like IP that they created. They announced it a little bit ago at was it Games Fest, I think, in December.
Maybe.
But yeah, they've kind of hinted at that before that like, oh, there might be another story to tell.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that doesn't seem like it's on the immediate horizon.
Yeah. All right, we are gonna actually skip our next topic,
Okay.
and then we'll brush up on that next week to see how things play out in that arena. You want to jump into the last one there? Last story we got?
So it was reported earlier this week. It might have been today, actually. I don't remember.
I would say it was rumored a few days ago, and then
Yeah.
Deadline officially
Okay.
reported on it to just this afternoon.
That it's looking like Robert Pattinson might be circling the role of Cytale in Dune Messiah. So that character is kind of like I'm actually just gonna read.
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say,
description.
can you help me with that at all?
Yeah, so
'Cause I'm like,
Cytale is a shape-shifting face dancer who is the head of a conspiracy against Emperor Paul Atreides.
oh, sounds perfect.
So I'll be interested to see how that kind of plays. Is he going to be like, well, I mean, I guess if he can just shapeshift, you could just play him as just Robert Pattinson regularly, and then he'll, do whatever throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I will be interested to see how that goes. I think that's, great casting. I feel like, Dune, obviously with part 2, just kind of grabbed every single person they could into that movie. So it
Mhm.
makes sense they do it with the third one. Was this a surprise for you, or you like, obviously you don't know who this character
sure.
is, so it's like
For sure. I mean, honestly, it's like I was talking to my friend Alex, who's been a friend of the show. He's been on a few times.
Mhm.
It's like crazy that the conversation went from like, oh, what's Greg Fraser gonna shoot? Batman 2 or Dune 2? And now Batman 2 still hasn't gotten made.
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson, not only is Greg Fraser shooting Dune 3, but the Batman himself might gonna be starring in Dune 3. It's like, where the hell is the Batman 2? But that's just the funny thing of it for me.
I saw that it might
it's Warner
last
Brothers
too.
movies.
Or it might like Batman 2 might film like early next year. I don't know if that's true, but
so it's going to come out after Secret Wars,
I
is what you're telling me?
no.
Like it came out what? It came out right after Shang-Chi.
Would you be shocked if that movie just never came out? This was never made.
This is the second time I've had this conversation today.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I will say what I think right now is that it actually won't get made.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see if things really change at DC or there's like a big shakeup or something, I could see them going back to Reeves and being like, hey, why don't we give this another go kind of thing? Because it's like either way, the dude was 36 playing like a 25-year-old Batman in a year 2 type of Batman. He's 40 now. He's in his 40s. You know what I mean? And it's like you can't have him be like
that's crazy.
You can't just pick the movie up a month after the last movie now. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like because of that, I think that things have really changed in the vision of the show or of the movie. And because of that, I feel like because the vision has to change because so much time has gone by, I just feel like the script has to change. And it's like then it's going to take even longer. And it's like maybe that's the work that Matt Reeves has been doing this whole time is like, hey, this is going to take longer than a few years. I'm going to change this script and get it to a place where an older Robert can play this and it's the story that I want to tell and everything like that. But at this point, I just think it's like to me, it's worse than Blade at this point. Because it's like at least Blade, you could tell every writer they brought on, every director they brought on was them trying to get the movie going.
Yeah.
This is like, and not that I want to get anyone but Matt Reeves on this, but to just have no update for, I mean, we're talking about almost 4 years with just no update and then 5 years between movies, depending on when they get it out. And granted, I know James Gunn has said like there was 5 years between Guardians of the Galaxy movies and stuff like, and it's like, yes, there was, but there was also other movies in that franchise to hold you over. So it was less noticeable. This is a smash billion-dollar hit from the pandemic. Yeah. And we've got the Penguin, which was amazing, but now that's over too. And they haven't filmed anything else. So we never got an announcement of a Sofia, Gigante show or a Catwoman show or anything like that. So I don't know, but Robert Pattinson joining Dune. I just think it was shocking, surprising for sure, but absolutely perfect fit. I think he will slide into any role in the Dune universe perfectly. That's what I think.
No, agreed. As far as Batman goes, I don't know. I think I'm not really holding out hope at this point. It just feels like it's kind of a pipe dream.
It's tough. It's tough because it's like I want to be super hopeful about it, but it's just been so long. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not like Matt Reeves. And believe me, I don't go to the school of these studios and these directors. They owe us. They need to tell us what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way at all. If Matt Reeves has a personal situation going on, whatever, I don't care. My thing is, if he can't do the movie for one reason or another, let's see about something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's very hard to say, but it's like, I would rather, honestly, superhero movies are so, Batman movies, I'm not saying that any movie is easy, but I feel like we kind of have the formula for Batman. And it's like, the director comes in and iterates on the formula. And it's like, in this amount of time, we could have gotten a whole new Batman. And that would probably be pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, sure, you could make a bad movie, but none of the problems with Ben Affleck as Batman was Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? It's like, I would rather keep having a cavalcade of Batman than be hanging on to this one Batman for a decade and never actually getting a follow-up story. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, I feel like you gotta kind of let it go.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that point is, and it's not my job to know. It's between Pam Abdi, Mike DeLuca, and James Gunn to figure out what's going on with Matt Reeves. But it's been years now, and it's like I don't know what's going on with Matt Reeves, so I don't know. But I would love to see it. I mean, if nothing else, just keep giving us cool crime stories on HBO. Like if nothing else.
Yeah.
And then find a way to work Batman into those.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of cool crime stories, we are going to transition here and shift gears from DCU over to the MCU. And that is going to be talking about this week's episode 8 of Daredevil Born Again. TJ, let's just jump. Oh, also, if you guys are watching, because I see right now we have 7 people watching. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Jonah LK, if you are still watching, we're actually going to talk about your comment real quick here. This episode was on par with the best of the Netflix series, and it finally acknowledges the old episodes too. Ben Urich death, right? It does mention that. I don't know if I'll agree that it finally, meaning it hasn't before. I think there's been a lot of stuff that it's done before, particularly like the first episode. And then more importantly, I think last week they really did a great job with the whole Fisk. He took down my empire that I built 10 years. Like Fisk basically just talking about the old show. But yeah, I totally agree. It was awesome to hear Ben mentioned in that context, which was a pretty good scene as well. But guys, call down below if you want to talk about Daredevil, if you want to get any of your thoughts out about this series. I'm going to throw it over to TJ. First up, Daredevil Born Again, episode 8. What are your thoughts?
What I'll say is finally
The Rock has come
finally.
back to
I thought this episode was really good. I thought it was just really fantastic. I'd agree. It felt like kind of just an episode from the original series of the show where it felt of that quality, I would say. And I would say you kind of get it right from the beginning with Bullseye and the Blue Rose and all that stuff. I thought was really interesting. You know, they're really this is the most I think we've got between Matt and Heather, their relationship in one episode, which I thought was really good. Granted, you know, it doesn't mean as much because we haven't built there yet, but
yeah, exactly.
But they did, I feel like, a lot of work in this episode to kind of drag that out of them and make you feel something. And obviously we get the same with Visk and Vanessa and what happens with them. More with Kirsten, I thought was great. I think like the most screen time she's had in this show, I want to say, up to this point.
Yeah. Well, maybe episode 3.
Maybe episode 3.
The courtroom one.
Daniel still I don't know what to make of
I feel a lot better about that now.
Yeah, of his character. I still don't know. I'm not sure what to make of his character.
You better not touch Sheila. That's all I gotta say.
It feels like whatever his story leads to, it's just not going to hit the way I think they want it to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I saw another tweet between comparing this show to the Penguin and those two characters, and I was like, this is not even. I was like, this isn't even close to the Penguin. Like, what are we talking about?
Hey Vic.
Yeah, I think
Kitchen.
Sheila also very kind of just not really in this episode either. Like she's in it, but she doesn't really do anything.
I feel like Sheila hasn't had a big moment since the like the Red Hood, like since the Packed Day as Mayor episode.
Yeah,
like
and it's kind of weird too. It just it's almost like maybe prior to changing everything, she was a bigger part, and then they kind of got rid of all her stuff, maybe. But yeah, I mean, just like a lot. I just feel like a lot happened in this episode, and I thought they built everything up really well. And the last 5-10 minutes I thought were really, really good. Probably the best of this show so far. But yeah, really, really happy, really excited for the next 2 episodes. Even though last night I thought we were getting 2
Just one.
episodes for some reason. 1. Okay. So
Yeah.
last night I thought we were getting 2 for some reason.
So what happened was when they originally put out the weird release schedule,
yeah,
a bunch of the websites were saying that it was 2-part premiere, 2-part middle, and 2-part finale.
oh,
It was just 2-part premiere and 2-part middle.
okay,
Yeah, so that's where that's
Maybe
I
why.
think that's where people got confused
Gotcha.
because they thought there was going to be a gap between Daredevil and Andor,
Mhm.
but it's the very next week.
Okay.
So it's there's no gap between Daredevil and Andor. Yeah, I mean, I think that this episode was really, really good. I will say, as normally happens with a show, once I start to see the flaws, I find it hard to rein it back in
Mhm.
a way. So it's like, for me, I really, really loved this episode, but I did still feel some of those. And I should be very specific here. I really mean this in the same thing I complained about last time, which was
Yeah.
the cold open. Oh no, not the cold open, because the cold open was Bullseye. That was incredible.
Mhm.
The opening after the credits, where they were doing that same thing where it was cutting
Yeah.
between a Fisk and Vanessa conversation and a Heather and Matt conversation. And they did this same thing that they did a few weeks ago, where it's like they're cutting on the rhythm of the conversation,
Mhm.
but like the rhythm feels way too fast. It feels
Yeah.
way too fast, in my opinion. And I got to be honest, that like sucked me out of the episode for those like 3 minutes, because I was like, oh no, are we like, because it's like Benson and Moorhead are back. These are the Loki guys. These are the guys who did the premiere, which was so good. Like, and I was like, oh no, are we just falling in the same trap? That was really the only issue I had. And I
Mhm.
really just don't like, I don't know, because it's like, I'm not one of those people that I swear I'm not. I'm not one of those people that like was like hated on Skylar White. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I kind of feel that with Heather, and I'm like, man, like, let him figure this out. Like
Yeah.
the whole how am I not supposed to psychoanalyze like that? And it's oh my god, like the argument that they have, it was just, I don't know, totally nitpicking, totally like not important to anything because it's just meant to get everything going. But um it just felt like it was a full minute of, but Daredevil tried to save you. Yes, but he's still chaotic.
Yeah.
But he tried to save you. I know, Matt. I know. So I
But
don't understand. And I was like, okay, what do we do? And then Buck showed up, and I was like, okay, there we go. Like we're moving the plot along. Buck is somebody who I think, again, we've as much as we've been not dissing on, but as much as we've been disappointed in Gandolfini's character, I
Mhm.
really like Buck. I think
Yeah.
he's right up there with Wesley from season
Mhm.
1, with one of Fisk's guys, and that's why I kind of hope that we are done with Daniel after this season, because it's like I think Buck is enough. Like I want and maybe it's the total opposite. Maybe Buck gets killed in the finale or something like that. But I just really, really like him, and I think every time he's on screen, he has a chance to like prove himself as an actor and as a character, and I think he does a really good job. Um, I think that Vanessa, what she has to do at the end of this episode is just another incredible performance by her. She has had some great stuff to do throughout the season, but it really took me back to remember her very first scene in the first episode where she's with the 5 families,
Mhm.
and she is just commanding the screen.
Yeah.
When her and Matt are doing their little, and again, we're keeping it spoiler free, but we'll go into spoilers in just a second. But when her and Matt have their back and forth, they're very intense back and forth. I was feeling it. I was like, man,
Same.
this is
Mhm.
like, it took me right back to the season 3 finale of him pointing at her and her being covered in Wilson's blood and everything, and him going, I will, I will send your wife to prison. And it's like, well, now he really wants to. But yeah, I think other than that, just on a technical level, on a writing level, on an action level, on just like on like a tense level, on like the drama of it, Just such an improvement over last week. And I've been loving this show all throughout. I just really saw the flaws in last week's episode. And I think that what we had been talking about last week with we hope there's the bounce back, I think there was definitely the bounce back. Yeah, I really, really like the episode, but there's a ton to talk about in a spoilery sense. So let's go ahead and jump into spoilers, and we are going to lead that off by taking our first call of the evening. And that is, we have Shelly waiting for us. Shelly, can you flip through your microphone to show that you are ready to go? All right. Shelly, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know you knew I was waiting for spoilers. One thing I really loved is sort of like there was throughout the episode, especially through the ball, there was just this thing, this almost like dance between Fisk and Matt, where Matt kept trying to get to confront him throughout this whole thing, and then something would happen, and Fisk would be taken off here with Vanessa or over here with his, his people, and just every time. And then in the very and I think Fisk knew it. There was some times where I could see he was sort of just glancing at him like, oh yeah, you didn't get me this time either. Like you haven't cornered me. And the whole time he's going to do something to confront him. So it's going to be a negative. And in the end, he turns around and does what he did at the very end. So the look on Fisk's face was sort of like, you get that one moment where you just see him like, did you just do what I think you did? You know what I mean? And it's like this whole time you've got him sort of, dancing around with him, trying to catch up to him and everything. And I think, like I said, Fisk, I think, knew it, and most likely reveled in the fact that he was never able to get to him. And then that happens at the end. And I think it's going to make Fisk being like, what, why? Like, that kind of thing. And I think that's, that's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Now,
last episode.
I want to circle back to that because I want to end with that on your call. Do you have anything else before we circle back to that? Because I have a question for you that you want to talk about from the episode.
It's always nice to see a brief little cameo from Jack. He shows up once in a while.
Oh, by the way, the wig is gone. Definitely back to his normal, like his actual hair.
Yes.
That wig is terrible.
But I feel like whenever they bring him on, whatever they're talking about, it always gets interrupted. Another thing that gets interrupted, and we don't know what's coming. What is it that he wants with Jack? Because it never fully comes out. Well, that was the only other thing.
Yeah. I thought the Jack stuff was great. And we'll probably talk about that in a second. But before we let you go, I want to ask you, what do we think the thinking was? What do we think? Well, let's just keep it as simple as this, because I know TJ and I are probably going to go real deep on this specific moment. But what do you think was Matt's main reasoning for jumping in front of him? And I will say, full massive spoilers for the episode for the last 10 seconds of the episode. If you have not seen it, obviously we are talking about at the end of the episode, Bullseye is lining up the shot with Wilson Fisk. Well, we don't really know who he's lining up the shot on, but we know once he fires that he was aiming at Fisk, pulls the trigger, and Matt jumps in front of Fisk, getting shot directly in the chest. So what do you think, before we let you go, what was your take on Matt's reason for doing that? I don't know. Thought process.
I think that part of it is that Matt knows he doesn't. I think Matt wants to know why the whole mayor thing. What is the end game with this? And if Fisk gets shot, he feels like he's not going to know. The other part of it is, I think, is he wants to be the one to do it. He doesn't want somebody else to take Fisk out before he can finish him in his own way. Because it's just, I mean, if it wasn't for Fisk yet again, he didn't jump back into Daredevil except for things Fisk is doing and everything. And it's almost like he's the one who sort of keeps dragging him into it, when he tries to, it's that whole, I try to get I try to get away, but they keep pulling me back in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Fisk is the biggest person with that. And I think he feels like he wants the showdown. So I think it may not have been what was in his mind at the moment, but I think clearly that was part of it. It just sort of, I think it was impulse, but I think a lot of it is driven by, I need to figure this guy out. I need to be the one to take him down.
Yeah.
Whichever way that is, whether it's legally and, get him behind bars, or if he wants to just pound him himself, I don't know. But I just feel like Matt wanted to confront him that whole time because he wants to get a feel for what the hell is really going on. And and I think just all of that in the moment, plus, Matt's a vigilante, but he's a good guy. So he's also, like thinking, to push him out of the way. I don't know that he necessarily thought he was taking a bullet for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not according to Heather.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So it just worked out that way. But I have to say, it was interesting how everybody slipped out, but then he's just laying on the ground with Heather, and nobody's like doing anything.
So it was like, call an ambulance or anything.
Like,
it's like,
does somebody want to pick the blind guy up off the floor? But no, it was amazing. But I just kept thinking last night, that whole ball and them sort of avoiding each other and trying to get to each other and all that stuff was it just made it
was like their own dance.
Right. And it made so much sense because they had the setting at a ball. It's like genius. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know how these people, especially associated with like Marvel and everything, get those details down so perfectly and those kind of like undertones and things. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me for these things. And I'm telling you, I think this is the best thing, from the very beginning of Daredevil when it was on before and now continuing it, is the best television they've ever done. I think.
There it is.
Yep. So
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's certainly been the highest quantity.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But second longest running if you consider it a fourth season, which it mostly is.
Well, you guys go spoil some more.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for giving us a call. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on the finale next week.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. Yeah. So I mean, obviously we talked a little bit about the ending, but we got Bullseye in prison, Matt visiting him. We have a great scene with Matt going back to Hell's Kitchen finally with Josie and Cherry. I thought that was a fantastic scene. And then we can talk a little bit more about the ball and how everything ended. Wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go, let's talk some highlights and concerns.
I think, again, not a spoiler, kind of going back to your whole Heather and Matt discussion at the beginning of the episode.
For sure.
Kind of how she's like, well, they were just there for themselves. It's like, yeah, but he saved you. She's like, well, I saved myself because I shot him. It's like, well,
if getting choked and dying.
Yeah, but if he wasn't there, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of that logic that doesn't really, track. I thought what they did that was really cool with the when Bullseye's lining up the shot and they kind of expand the visual and then they kind of tighten it a little bit too. I thought that was really cool.
I got a whole thing on that. I want to go on a tangent real quick. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. So, do you know what it means to de-squeeze something?
No.
So, when you shoot on, okay, this is gonna get real technical for a second, but it makes it so awesome what they did. So, you can shoot on a spherical lens, which is a circle, which is like, which creates a square image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which creates a standard image.
Yeah.
Then you can shoot on an anamorphic lens, which is like an oval, and that produces this like squeezed in box is how the film all comes out. So what you have to do is you have to go in. Let me set my brightness way down so you can even have a chance of seeing this. You have to go in and you have to, in software, you have to de-squeeze the footage.
Yeah.
So literally what they did, and again, Alex, friend of the show, he coined the term when we were talking about, because I showed him the scene. he coined the term. They did a re-squeeze, which is
Okay.
this show is shot on anamorphic lenses. They basically just unsqueezed the image and put it back to its like square.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that is so cool. Because in the first episode, they do that same gimmick where it opens up and you can hear that Matt's listening to all of the bar, and then it narrows in on Foggy. But because he's listening into a ballroom, it's like they had to go even bigger than the frame would allow. So it's almost like in the first episode, they went to a 16:9 screen to show it. But in this, they had to go even bigger. So they actually stretched it all the way to like an IMAX ratio of him listening to the whole room, and then squeezed it way down. So it's almost like it was just such a cool visual trick to be like, they're literally using the aspect ratio. It's just going one step farther with the using the aspect ratio to display his hearing.
I almost also coined that too, with him like pulling the trigger as well for some reason. Just kind of like him kind of
it just all happens at the same time on beat almost.
Yeah. So which I thought was I just thought again that, and the whole kind of, I'm not really sure, honestly. Maybe you know. I don't know what the whole rose thing is. Maybe that's from the original show that I just don't remember. The whole kind of they did a lot with color this episode, I thought, too, with the blues and the obviously red. But
yeah, I actually wish that they had done one of those in the first episode to establish that. The only thing that I could think of is maybe with like all the tapes and stuff, because you got to remember, I always forget how much of Daredevil season 3 really is about Bullseye. Like it's so much of it is about his past, him now, like everything like that. So I think maybe the flower was significant to like his childhood, but then I realized the blue is because Bullseye's suit is blue. Like technically Bullseye's colors are blue. So I was like, I think that's why they were doing it. And then I think they really did it to match it with the fact that everything went red for Matt at the end of the episode. Because like everything in Matt's life was turning red. But yeah, I really liked what they were doing with the blue color and everything like that. And I really liked the cold open with Bullseye. Again, I just wish, if there was one thing that I was thinking while I was watching this, that not even necessarily a negative, just like a thought or a wish that I had about it, is like, I just wish that like some of the Muse backstory was peppered throughout the show more. I wish that some of these scenes of Bullseye in prison was peppered throughout the show more.
Agreed.
But I get that it's like, because of the kind of Jenga tower of a show that they had to work with, it's like you kind of can't do that. Like it's just a little bit harder to do that with the circumstances of how this show came together. And that's just the only disappointing thing to me. But with what we did get, I thought it was phenomenal with Bullseye this scene, particularly the interrogation scene with the two of them. That Matt is just is just off the reservation. Like the dude is like cracked. Like when he bashes his face in and then goes, "Guard!"
Yeah.
He's going crazy, bashes his face in the table. It's like, man, you just did that. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, and then he said, like, he was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Like I literally never heard Matt talk like that ever. And I was like, holy shit. Like this guy's getting pissed, man. Rightfully so. But let's talk a little bit about the fact that I was right 5 weeks ago when I said on this show that I think Vanessa put the hit out on Foggy. I couldn't believe it.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. I literally was sitting there going, I was like, as soon as he goes, "Oh, Melvinese," he knew he was going to win. Somebody silenced him. I was like, oh man, it's got to be Vanessa. I mean, it's not like I'm going like, oh, I pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Like there's only like 3 people it could have been.
Right.
But
yeah, true.
but I thought the way that Matt got to the conclusion, the fact that before Matt knows and before Wilson still doesn't even know, you start to see the panic in Vanessa when Buck goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know, Benjamin Poindexter just broke out of prison." Yeah. And Fisk is like, "Okay, thank you for letting me know." But he's not thinking too much of it because he's like, "What does that have to do with me?" And Vanessa's like, and then even when Matt finally says it to her, in that fantastic scene that I love that he says to Heather, he's like, we could fight, or he says, we could fight, or we could break up later, but right now you have to lead. And he puts the cane on the waiter's
On the
little
tray.
dish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also I loved, I'm kind of jumping all over the place.
There you
Stop
go.
me any place you want to talk. I loved the scene with Cherry in Josie's. Again, just like talking about characters who I think we can leave behind in the old version, and characters that I need back. Kirsten and Cherry, I'm like, give those guys a chance. Like, bring these guys. Like, the chemistry is there. You know what I mean? Like, Daniel, Heather, I'm okay. But
and just speaking of like as far as Kirsten goes, I would say I felt like they were trying to. They kind of went. Well, remember, this is still kind of like a law show, like with lawyers and stuff. So we need something in there for him to be doing where we remind people that he's a lawyer and, he tries cases, defends people, all that stuff. So they kind of put this in there with this guy who's defrauding teachers or something that is kind of, just gives him a reason to blow up, and him and Kirsten have this kind of heart to heart for like a few minutes. So I, like you said, I hope we get more of those two specifically.
Sure.
We'll see if that happens in the next season. I want to go to the whole Adam, Fisk, Vanessa kind of love triangle thing that happens. Well, obviously, at the end of
he's not part of us.
Last week, you were like, I don't know, maybe she's out to get him. Clearly, they're stronger than ever right now.
Yeah, you got it. You nailed it.
Until maybe he finds out about this whole thing.
One second, because I wanna get an opinion on something. I'll be right back.
Okay. He finds out with Poindexter and all this stuff, so maybe he kind of, maybe he goes the complete opposite way. I don't know. But I am very interested to see, I guess, in the next episode and going forward in the next season, how that stuff kind of goes. What happens with the three of them. For me, I was kind of shocked that she kind of shot Adam. I don't know. I just feel like we were kind of, it was heading that way, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes. Of course, he just like leaves me. Can't believe he just left me like this. But yeah, anybody in the chat, any thoughts about this episode? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to my roommate because she said that she also thought that they would be further apart than ever. But then she was like, well, obviously now we know that it wasn't. But yeah, we both came out of that thinking like, oh, he's saying it like, ask Vanessa if she wants takeout. Like, I'm coming home. Like, her plan didn't work. But it turns out he literally was just like,
no, ask her if she wants something.
Yeah, no, ask her if she wants something, like literally. But yeah, I just wanted to, because I could not think. But yeah, sorry, what were we?
So obviously that happens, and you're like, oh, okay, well, obviously they're together at this point.
And it sets the groundwork that whatever you think Vanessa's capable of, which is already a lot, she's capable of anything.
Right.
To set you up for the end of the episode.
Right. I was surprised to see her shoot him, honestly. And just kind of, again, this is complete opposite of what we're talking about, but the other thing was them inviting oh my god, her name just like escapes me. Heather. I just can't remember it. Them like inviting Heather to the whole thing. I was kind of like, well, we saw them together like twice. Like we saw like two appointments of them together. I guess I get the invite, but then they kind of go to the whole thing where it's like, well, he's the mayor, he cares about everybody. So they're okay, fair enough.
I also think it was because she was a recent survivor of a vigilante incident.
Yeah, fair.
I think that had more to do with it. Right, of like, but yeah, well, Vanessa, okay. Sorry. Shelly says Vanessa had to shoot Adam in order to prove her loyalty to Fisk.
Right.
As much as I didn't like the pacing of that scene and how it was intercut with the other argument, I actually think the scene itself is really effective because it's doing so much at once. It's going, whatever you think Vanessa's capable of, believe us, she's capable of more.
Right.
It's her proving herself to Fisk, and it's also kind of hinting that Fisk really had nothing to do with Foggy, because the reason that Vanessa has to be the one to kill Adam is because Fisk takes his promises seriously.
Mm-hmm.
He promised Matt that he wouldn't touch Foggy or Karen, and he kept that promise. He promised Vanessa that he wouldn't kill Adam, so she has to be the one to kill him. You know what I mean? He's like, if I do this, he doesn't say this, but he's like, if I'm the one that does this, it doesn't change anything. You have to be the one to cut this out of our lives. And I love that she has that classic Vanessa like cold delivery when she looks at Adam and just goes, he's not a part of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that she looks at her and Wilson like they're one. You know what I mean? Like they're one person. And Wilson looks at her like that too. And it's like, she's like, oh, I was really into this guy, but he's not a part of our life together. Why are all three of us together?
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that Vanessa had been written that way and with that mind frame the whole season.
And kind of just adding to that real quick, and this kind of plays into my theory on why he jumped in front of the bullet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, she and him look at it as each other as like one kind of thing, whereas Matt looks at them separately, I feel like. And so I almost feel like he jumped in front of it because he's like, well, he didn't do what I thought he did. So in that case, I don't think again, like he's done terrible things, obviously, but he didn't kill my best friend, So,
yeah, it's like the worst thing that Matt, because in that great heat scene in the first episode, right? It was another joint promise, which was, he goes, believe me, if you do one thing that steps out of line, I will come after you with everything. And he goes,
right.
I wonder which half is saying that. And he goes, same goes for you. If you go out as Daredevil, I will, whatever.
Right.
I think it's Matt once, and then Matt is going crazy with Bullseye going, did Fisk hire you? Did Fisk hire you?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he now knows that he didn't.
Right.
And it's like, he's like, I've kind of been getting mad at the wrong guy.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit. And now I see the Bullseye is here. He's going to kill Fisk. And it's like, I don't know. I think there's still an element to it that we just don't know. I feel like there's just something in Matt's thought process that we purposely don't know. But for what we can piece together so far, I think it really was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to just let this guy die. I think at the bare minimum, it was, I'm not going to let this guy die without getting answers. And I think you can chalk it up to the Daredevil-ness of like, well, he could hear that, it was going to be a direct heart shot on Fisk, but if he jumped, it was going to get his shoulder. It's like, because then you go, well, if he wanted to save Fisk, why would he kill himself? And it's like, I can believe that Daredevil knows where to get shot, just like John Wick.
Yeah. I also think it's just like you said too, when he's talking to Bullseye in the interrogation room, he wants the reason to like get Fisk and get rid of him,
It's
and
like
then when he doesn't have
said,
the
I didn't
reason,
wanna
it's
give you the
like, well, I
excuse.
can't, say he's to kill him. I can't kill him without a reason. You know what I mean? Like he's done terrible things, but like I'm not just gonna kill him to kill him if I'm going to. I need to know that he did this thing to me, and so then I can kill him. And when he doesn't have it, it's like, well, and I think also plays into the like, I'm gonna kill him if he's gonna die. Nobody else is gonna kill him as well.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like they're like Batman and Joker. You know what I mean? Where it's like I've seen so many people this week be like, I just don't understand if he's got the vigilante task force going around, like why is he not going after Matt? And it's like, because what's the point? Like where's the fun in that? Like then it's like not only is he going against his own word,
right?
That he promised to Matt, but he's also like you just can't. I don't know. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Batman doesn't kill the Joker for a reason, the same way the Joker doesn't really care to find out who Batman is, because it's like then you take all the fun out of it. But yeah, I just think really, really fantastic episode, really great ending. But
What'd you
yeah.
think about the whole cops thing with the task force and the chief,
Oh, right,
BB,
with
that kind of
Gallo
stuff?
and BB and all
Yeah.
that stuff too. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I hinted at it, or the chat that we got earlier had hinted at that, and I didn't even remember it. I thought that was great. I thought, but again, it's like I go, oh, it was great. I wish we got more. I
Yeah.
understand why we didn't. It's
I
like
wish
that. That's
I
everything.
I wish we just got something from the chief. We got him episode 2, I think it was, episode
Yeah.
2, 3. But other than that, like, he hasn't really been in the show.
Yeah, he was there for the Muse meeting and didn't say anything.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But oh right, because he did say so. He was like, because he goes, well, maybe when the sanitation department finds a serial killer before the police, we
Oh,
need to start
yes.
changing policy.
Correct, yes.
But yeah, no, but he was fantastic in this. Again, the freaking guy who plays Powell is like, oh my god, what a fucking slimy asshole that guy
Mhm.
is. But man, that actor is like doing such a good job. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what the part requires. But like, holy shit, what an asshole! The whole like, oh no, chief, that's not
Yeah.
assault. And then he does
It
it,
is
and he goes,
assault.
that's assault. And it's like he's like, oh my fucking god! Like Gallo's like, this is like, and then one scene later, BB calls it like, aren't you the head of his personal SS? Like
Yeah.
it's like literally like military police that only answer to him with no body cam. But yeah, I loved all that stuff, and I loved BB going, we're gonna go public with everything. I thought that was great. But again, it's like, and now this is 2 episodes in a row with no BB report also. But I think I just wish that there had been more of that stuff from BB all throughout the season,
Mhm.
because I believe her when she's like, I'm writing stuff under other names to go after Fisk and everything, but it's
Right.
like, show me that. Like, show me that she's not just this mouthpiece, because to me, it's like, yeah, she got threatened by Daniel, but other than like the fact that I think that she's just a morally good person, she didn't really have a reason to really care about what she wrote about Fisk or what she wrote about Muse. Like, I didn't really have a reason to care one way or another. And I was a little shocked when they were like, did you know that he was the main suspect in your uncle's death? And I was shocked when she said yes. Because I was like, okay, that might feel a little far. Like, I don't know if there has ever been any inkling about that, like even hinted at.
Not gonna lie, I kind of just figured that she did know that.
That she did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So when
figured
they
that
said
she
it, I
did.
was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that makes. I was like in my head, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't she know? Like, just figure that.
Yeah, I just felt like if she did know, like, give me some sort of an indication of that
Yeah.
sooner than episode 8.
Mhm.
But again, this is like a small detail of like the 10th main character, like main important
Yeah.
character on the show. But yeah, the scene itself between her and Gallo, I really, really loved, and I really hope that they can kind of crack shit open and go public with stuff. But
Do you
I
think
feel
she's
like
gonna like? This would be really hard to do, and I do think maybe like her and Daniel will kind of carry over into the next season, just because it seems like they're trying to build their relationship up.
yeah,
Do you think maybe this is a case where she kind of plays both sides, where she kind of
I think if
yeah,
something happens to Gallo, like she's just about ready to put her head above the water. And if Gallo gets killed or something, I could see her retreating back and being like, it's not the moment yet.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And almost being like, I have to fall back in line and keep my nose down again and then pick another opportunity. You know what I mean?
hmm
So I do think that. I think you could see her, if something happens to Gallo, I think you could see her going back to pretending to be with Fisk and be for Fisk and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe one last thing. We were talking to Shelly. It was kind of brought up. Tony Dalton, making another kind of quick appearance.
Mhm.
I'd say he's probably, he's in the episode for like 5 minutes, maybe.
Mhm.
What do you think we're building with it? Is this just like kind of get more of his character in the universe, or are we building to something maybe in season 2?
I hope to God that we're building to something in season 2. I think what we could be building to is maybe this Daredevil Punisher team up. Maybe Swordsman gets in on the action.
Mm-hmm.
What I wish we were saying was I wish that the name Kate Bishop was maybe getting tossed around a little, considering you have, last time I checked, Kate's basically stepfather. And then, even if the marriage didn't happen, it's like, I would assume that they probably talk to each other on the regular and be like, have you seen my mom? Yeah, she's doing good, like that kind of thing. And then the flip side of that being Wilson Fisk, the person that Kate Bishop, tried to arrest and fought. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for, like, I might have to pay that precious stepdaughter of yours a visit, something like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of just like an influential guy in New York, it helps make this feel like it's the same New York from Hawkeye. Whereas like the stuff I've already talked about with Luca, to me, did not. That did not feel like the same stuff from Hawkeye, but this very much does. And I also just think it is to get him in the universe more, yeah. But I also think it's an easy in with the audience, because it's like if you've seen Hawkeye, you kind of have it built in, and that who this guy is, what he's about. Because you also have the blonde lady who's like another benefactor, rich person.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna bring up too. Was what do you think she was she just acting that way because they had probably just recently had a conversation with Fisk?
I think so. I think the idea was that she just came out of that room.
Right.
But yeah, I really liked it because he was like, you're gonna be providing us matching funds, and he's like, I'm not even interested in your project.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh really, and then he just has the swordsman information and stuff. So I could see it going one of both ways, but I do hope maybe a little bit of a bigger role in season 2. Maybe Matt has to defend him in season 2. That could be cool. But yeah, I just really like him in this universe. And it's like, I was telling one of my other friends today, I was like, it's so funny because if this show had come out 3 years ago and all of this was established inside the MCU, so many of these characters would be in Thunderbolts. Like you could have Jack in Thunderbolts. You could definitely have Daredevil in Thunderbolts. You could have Bullseye in Thunderbolts. Like, there's so many characters that kind of get unlocked in the broader MCU in this show. So yeah, I hope that we get to see a fully formed swordsman at some point in this. And I think like you said, being in the universe, it kind of serves like a Yusuf Khan role too, where it's like this guy is from this other show that and then ironically, both of their daughters, Kate Bishop and Ms. Marvel, have both already met. So I think they're setting up something. I'm going to throw out a crazy question here, which is, people have speculated about this, that the Young Avengers or the Champions or whatever, obviously we got that concept art where they were all with Wong. But in the comics, it's Hawkeye, like Clint, who's normally that mentor figure to the group. Could you see like Matt being a mentor figure to the Young Avengers?
Yeah, I don't see why
I think
not.
that'd be a great fit. Yeah. Just a thought I had, but yeah.
One other thing that just speaking of Punisher next episode. And I'll be interested to see, it was something we kind of brought up in the earlier episodes with the whole thing with the cops and using, the Punisher logo and that stuff. And then they kind of just didn't do anything with that. It was mentioned when him and Matt were talking to each other. Do you think, I don't even know how they would do it if they were to explore that in season 2. I think it'd be something really cool that they could do. Or maybe I don't know if they're planning on a Punisher show.
They already said they're filming it, like, I think now. The special presentation. They're doing a 90-minute special presentation.
Oh, so maybe that's something they could do in that. Maybe. I just want more of that, and I feel like they talked about it, and then they just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah. I will say, I think now that we're back in the hands of this new vision for it, I think that's going to be a big part. Like, I think that's going to be like a very big part of what they're doing. Because, again, some stuff I wish I haven't seen from season 2, but some stuff that looks amazing on set. is the vigilante task force.
I
don't think they're getting disbanded in the next episode.
Yeah, and
so
I was gonna say
yeah.
you there has to be some sort of I think with Punisher and the task force there has to be some sort of
a standoff
clash there.
Yeah. And I think you could see that in this finale, in the Punisher special, and in season 2. I think maybe that's going to be its own little arc, is like helping Frank deal with this stuff or just taking on this stuff. I also think all right, let's end on this. Powell, did you make it out of the season, yes or no?
I mean, it's him and the other guy is
Cole North.
Cole North, who is actually like he becomes like a hero, right, in the comics, I believe.
I don't know if I would use the word hero, but yes, he becomes a costumed figure. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, he kind of takes the lead, I guess. Or maybe he disbands. Maybe he is like, no,
maybe he like spins out.
Yeah, goes off on his own. I think they should keep him just because, like you said, I think the actor.
Yeah,
I think his name's
so good. He's
Hamish Allen Headley, I think is his name.
He's got to work on that.
He does a great job of playing this character. Very slimy, like you said. So I think it would suck, honestly.
And honestly, I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Powell has more screen time than Cherry. He has more screen time than Kirsten. He has more screen time than Heather. He definitely has more screen time than Muse. Like, he's in and out of every episode of the show. But yeah, really, really like the episode overall. Fantastic entry. People have said that 8 and 9 close out the season really, really well. I believe them with episode 8 so far, so I hope that episode 9 can somehow be even better. And I think just having Frank Castle will probably let it get there. But yeah, that'll do it for us. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Remember to what do I say? What's the thing that I say? Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click below. Share this video with somebody that loves Daredevil or loves entertainment news or anything like that. And that'll do it for me.
I've been another host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Please follow us on all social media: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We will see you next time.